For some overly superficial people, the theory of reincarnation is a cause for laughter. For others, who are very religious, it can signify a taboo or a sin. For pseudo-occultists, it is a very firm belief. For intellectuals, it is an absurd utopia, but for those of us who remember our previous existences, reincarnation is a fact. In the name of truth, I must solemnly state that I was born remembering all my past reincarnations and swearing this is not a crime. I am a man with an awakened conscience. Obviously, we must make a clear distinction between reincarnation and return, two very different laws. However, this is not the purpose of the present chapter. After this preamble, let's get to the facts, to the point. In the past, when the seas of the world were infested with pirate ships, I had to go through tremendous bitterness. At that time, the police angel gave Bullock a ship where he was incarnated. It is worth emphasizing that this being possessed a female body of splendid beauty. It is evident that I was her father. Unfortunately, and at an unfortunate time, the cruel piracy that did not respect lives or honors, after ravaging the European village where many citizens and I lived in peace, kidnapped the beautiful women of the place, among whom, clearly, was my daughter, an innocent maiden of bygone times. Despite the terror of so many villagers, I bravely managed, risking my own life, to confront the treacherous captain of the corsair ship. "Get my daughter out of that hell where you have put her, and I promise I will get your soul out of the hell where it is already." These were my painful exclamations. The terrible corsair, looking at me fiercely, took pity on my insignificant person and, with an imperative voice, ordered me to wait a moment. I saw with infinite anxiety the filibuster returning to his black ship. I understand he cleverly outwitted his ruthless sea wolves. The fact is that moments later, he returned my daughter to me. Good God and Holy Mary! But who would have thought that, after several cycles, would meet the ego of that terrible corsair reincarnated in a new human organism? Such is the law of the eternal return of all beings and things, and everything repeats according to another law called recurrence. One night of great spiritual unrest, I found him joyfully among the select group of aspiring Rosicrucians. That old corsair also spoke English and even told me he had traveled a lot, as he was a sailor for an American shipping company. However, that friendship turned out to be a will-o'-the-wisp, a flash in the pan, for I soon fully verified that such a man, despite his mystical longings, remained in his most intimate depths like an old corsair dressed in modern fashion. That gentleman of yours was very enthusiastic about recounting his astral experiences, as it is unquestionable that he knew how to project himself at will. One of these days, we arranged a transcendental metaphysical appointment in the SSS of Berlin, Germany. This was a relatively new experience for me, as, certainly until then, it had not occurred to me to carry out the experiment of the voluntary projection of consciousness. However, I knew I could do it, and so I dared to accept such an appointment. With complete clarity, I remember those solemn moments when I became a spy of my own sleep. The mystical vigil awaited the transition moment between wakefulness and sleep. I wanted to take advantage of that wondrous moment to escape from the physical body. The state of latitude and the first dream images were enough to fully understand that the longed-for moment had arrived. Delicately, I got out of bed and, walking very quietly, left my house, feeling possessed of a certain exquisite, delicious spiritual voluptuousness. It is unquestionable that, upon getting out of bed while dozing, the astral projection occurred, the very natural separation from the physical body. With that very unique glow of the astral body, I moved away from all those surroundings, longing to reach the Temple of Berlin. Obviously, I had to travel delightfully over the stormy waters of the Atlantic Ocean, floating serenely in the radiant astral atmosphere of this world. I arrived in the lands of old Europe and immediately headed to the capital of France. I wandered silently like a ghost through all those old streets that once served as the scene of the French Revolution. Suddenly, something unusual happened. A telepathic wave reached my solar plexus, and I felt the categorical imperative to enter a beautiful residence. In no way would I ever regret having crossed the rich threshold of such a noble mansion, for there I had the immense joy of finding a friend from my past reincarnations. That companion floated blissfully, immersed in the fluidic astral environment, outside the dense body that lay asleep on the perfumed mahogany bed. In the nuptial bed also slept the delicious physical body of his beloved. The sidereal soul of the latter, outside her mortal receptacle, shared the mirific joy of her husband, and they floated. I saw two tender infants of splendid beauty playing happily amidst the magical charm of that abode. I greeted my old friend and also his ineffable beloved, but the children were frightened by my unusual presence. It seemed better to leave through those streets of Paris, and my friend did not reject the idea. Talking together, we moved away from the mansion of delights. We walked slowly, through all those streets and avenues that go from the center to the outskirts. Outside that great city, I proposed point blank, as they say, to visit the esoteric temple of Berlin, Germany, together. That initiate politely declined the invitation, objecting that he had a wife and children and that, therefore, he only wanted to focus his attention on the economic problems of life. With great sorrow, I moved away from that awakened man, lamenting that he postponed his esoteric work. Suspended in the astral light of wonders and marvels, I passed over some ancient, mighty walls. Blissfully, I traveled along the winding path that, in a serpentine manner, unfolded here, there, and everywhere. Drunk with ecstasy, I reached the temple of transparent walls. The entrance to that sacred place was certainly very unique. It was a sort of Sunday park, filled with beautiful plants and exquisite flowers that exuded an aura of death. At the extraordinary depth of that enchanting garden, the Temple of Splendors shone solemnly. The iron gates leading to the precious sanctuary park sometimes opened to let someone in, sometimes closed. The entire delicate and wonderful ensemble was highlighted by the immaculate light of the universal spirit of life. Before the holy sanctuary, I saw many noble aspirants of various nationalities, peoples, and languages, blissful souls who, during those hours when the physical body sleeps, moved by the force of longing, had escaped from the dense mortal form to come to the sanctuary. Sublimely, all these devotees talked about ineffable topics. They discussed the law of karma, pondered extraordinary cosmic matters, and emanated the fragrance of friendship and the scent of sincerity from within themselves. In a state of bliss, I wandered here, there, and everywhere, looking for the daring filibuster who had boldly set such a mysterious appointment. I interrupted various groups, asking about the said gentleman, but no one could give me any answer. I then understood that the old pirate had not kept his word. I did not know the reasons. I felt disappointed. Silently, I decided to approach the glorious door of the Temple of Wisdom. I wanted to enter the holy place, but the guardian closed the door, telling me, "It is not yet time. Withdraw." Calm and understanding everything, I joyfully sat on the symbolic stone, very close to the portal of mystery. In those moments of fullness, I self-observed integrally. Indeed, I am not a subject of subjective psyche. I was born with an awakened conscience and have access to objective knowledge. How beautiful the astral body seemed to me, the splendid result of ancient transmutations of libido. I remembered my physical body, which was now asleep in the remote distance of the Western world, in a village in America. Self-observing, I made the mistake of comparing the astral and physical vehicles. Due to such comparisons, I lost the ecstasy and instantly returned to my intense material wrapping. Moments later, I got up from the bed. I had achieved a marvelous astral projection. When I severely questioned the old filibuster about the reason why he could not keep his word, he could not give me a satisfactory answer. 35 years passed since that time when that old sea wolf and I arranged such a mysterious appointment. Beyond time and distance, that strange character was now just a memory written among the dusty pages of my old chronicles. However, I confess without reservations that, after so many years, I was surprised by something unusual. One spring night, finding myself absent from the dense perishable form, I saw the Lord of the heavens, the Holy Spirit, my sacred superindividual monad, with the ineffable semblance of the Ancient of Days. The Lord was severely admonishing that old sea pirate. It is unquestionable that the physical body of the latter, at those hours of the night, lay asleep in bed. Moving forward, I wanted to intervene as a third party in discord, but the Ancient of Days, categorically, ordered me to remain still and silent. Long ago, the pirate who had returned my daughter had rescued her from the hell where he himself had put her. Now, my real self, Samuel, was striving to liberate him, to emancipate him, to get him out of the infernal worlds. Let us make the light of this magical and millennial knowledge reach the largest number of people on the face of the earth. If we give light, we will receive light. Everything we give returns multiplied. That is one of the laws of the universe. Therefore, subscribe and share these videos everywhere, and if it comes from your heart, you can donate resources to the PayPal and Niqui accounts listed in the description box. In this way, we are reaching thousands and hundreds of thousands of people in various countries every day, both in Spanish and on our English channel, The Science of Energism, on YouTube and Facebook. I am the apprentice of the Venerable Masters of the White Brotherhood, and this is the Science of Energism, Pure Gnosis, Unveiled White Freemasonry. I look forward to seeing you in the next video program. Deep peace.